for madness? Well, you can't even imagine that. The judiciary system is the backbone of democracy. They bring justice to everyone. Inside the courtroom, innocents are hailed and criminals are punished. But what if the criminal attacks the judiciary itself? In this video, we will show you this deadly case where a man kills everyone in the courtroom. This video is going to be nerve-wracking and heart-wrenching, so stay tuned until the end. Meet Brian Nichols. He is a rapist and a killer, best known for his March 11, 2005 escape from custody and murderous rampage inside the Fulton County Courthouse in Atlanta, Georgia. Nichols was on trial for rape when he managed to escape custody and killed the judge overseeing the case, a court reporter, a deputy of the Fulton County Sheriff, and later, an ICE special agent. Nichols was apprehended 26 hours after a protracted manhunt in the Atlanta metropolitan region began. On November 7, 2008, he was found guilty of all 54 charges brought against him by the prosecution. And as a result, he was given a life term in jail. And that's when he did the most horrific act inside a courtroom. Nichols came from a middle-class household, according to what little is known about his early years. In 1989, he received his diploma from the Cardinal Gibbons School in Baltimore, Maryland. In the academic years of 1989 to 1990, he spent 3 semesters at Kutztown University of Pennsylvania in Kutztown, Pennsylvania. He was a linebacker for the college's football team while he was a student there. Nick Pergine, who played football with Nichols at Kutztown, remarked that Nichols had a reputation for being someone to be cautious around due to his enormous physical presence and martial arts prowess. Nichols was detained at least 3 times during his brief tenure at the university, according to Burke County records. According to court records, he was charged in 1990 following an incident in a university dining hall with making terroristic threats, simple assault, disorderly conduct, and harassment. The 2 lower counts were withdrawn after he admitted guilt to them. Nichols was detained again in 1 month the next year for criminal trespassing, misdemeanor criminal mischief, and disorderly behavior. Later, those charges were dropped. Nichols attended Newberry College from 1992 to 1993 and played football there after his brief time at Kutztown. During that time, according to athletic spokesperson Ryan Gross, Nichols was dismissed from the football team for stealing from a residence hall. After being accused of brutally assaulting his ex-girlfriend 8 years after their breakup, he was taken into custody. Well, let me tell you, his crimes have the potential to send shivers down your spine. She was wrapped with duct tape and raped by Nichols after he broke into her home and learned that she was dating Chris Rowell, a minister from their church. Moreover, charges against him included aggravated sodomy, burglary, false imprisonment, and possession of a firearm while committing a crime. As he was being brought to his retrial for the rape and other crimes, Nichols fought a sheriff's deputy when she took off his handcuffs. The 3-minute-long battle is captured on surveillance footage. Throughout his 2 trials before Judge Barnes, the 6'1" Nichols was constantly put under the protection of the 51-year-old sheriff's deputy. They transported Nichols from a detention center in the basement of the courthouse to a holding cell on the 8th floor of the Fulton County Justice Tower when he arrived there via bus. Deputy Dulcie Thomas claimed that on the morning of the assault, she begged 3 times to send another deputy up to a holding cell with Nichols so they could change out of their jail uniforms before going to court. Nichols was turned around as a deputy unhooked the second cuff that was hanging from his wrist after releasing the first one. Then, the deputy was viciously attacked by Nichols, who then forced her into an additional unlocked cell. The deputy was hit so hard in the face by him that her feet left the ground, as seen on the security video. Deputy Hall was locked in the cell when Nichols picked up her keys from the ground. Nichols entered a different cell, changed into his street clothes, and was last seen exiting the holding cell about 1 to 2 minutes later. He armed himself with her Beretta by opening a lockbox with the keys, semi-automatic pistol with a .40 cal. The deputy suffered a sizable forehead laceration, facial fractures, and a serious brain injury, according to hospital sources. Her health after the incident was described as critical, yet she lived. Due to the severity of Deputy Hall's wounds, medical professionals at Grady Memorial Hospital at first thought that she had been shot in the face. Nichols then used a sky bridge to transfer to the old courthouse, where he went inside Judge Roland W. Barnes' private quarters. David Allman, an attorney, and caseworkers Susan Christie and Gina Clark Thomas were there. When Nichols asked where Judge Barnes was, he forced them all to sit on the ground while holding them at gunpoint. The court bailiff, Sergeant Grantley White, entered the chambers and was greeted by an armed Nichols. Nichols stated not to do anything to Sarge, and he kept pointing the rifle at him. From a door behind the judge's bench, Nichols entered courtroom 8F. In the courtroom, Judge Barnes was overseeing motions in a civil case when he arrived, and after that, the horror started. The judge received a close-range shot to the back of the head. Witnesses claimed that the judge was unaware of Nichols' presence behind him. When Nichols noticed that the assistant district attorneys who were prosecuted were not present in the courtroom, he reportedly searched the prosecution table for them before shooting court reporter Julie Brando in the head. After using the restroom, White was able to exit and access his radio. He made the first radio transmission, informing the responding officers that there had been shots fired, and he also described the armed Nichols. After that, Nichols got up from the bench and went to a side room where witnesses were kept before the trial started, apparently looking for his rape victim. However, she was running late that day, so the room was empty. Nichols left the courtroom and sprinted into an emergency stairwell where Sergeant Hoyt Teasley saw him. Before picking up a radio or donning his bulletproof vest, Sergeant Teasley was already responding to the alarm when he arrived at his place of employment. The two fled the ancient courtroom through an emergency exit. Teasley chased Nichols down 7 flights of stairs. Nichols triggered a door alarm before leaving the building. He blasted his gun many times into the air, causing the crowded street to become chaotic. Additionally, he assassinated the judge's court reporter when she got up to check on him. To get away from the courthouse, he claimed he shot the sheriff's sergeant. He also claimed to have shot a federal agent in Buckhead while trying to steal his car. A prize of about $65,000 was made public by Georgia Governor Sonny Perdue for information that resulted in Nichols' capture. This was the most terrifying incident for the people of Atlanta, and after the shootings, Atlanta was essentially put on lockdown. To find the perpetrator, hundreds of officers in cruisers and helicopters rushed the area, setting up roadblocks at crucial crossroads in downtown and midtown. Although the search was aided by more than 100 state troopers and officials from other agencies, including the FBI, there were few leads. And as soon as he was detained, Nichols was transferred to an FBI field officer in Decatur, Georgia, where he was first detained on a federal charge of having a firearm in their possession while they are under indictment. After that, Nichols was taken to Atlanta Police Department, where Detective Vincent Velazquez questioned him. In a 3.5-hour police confession, Nichols confessed on camera and described his crimes.
Alright, MT gang, man, I'm not gonna hold you about the whole situation in my book.
Excellent.
This fool's a piece of shit. Okay, anybody that goes in and kills a whole bunch of people who just came to work to do their job, they convicted you of a crime that you definitely committed, and you go out sad like that and go and kill a bunch of people, bro, you a piece of shit, man. Get them up out of here, man. We don't support stuff like that, man. MT gang, man, and we back with another one, man. There's 10 other streamers doing it like me, but
Fuck that, I look 10. I'm maxed out.